Imagine a world very, very long ago. So long ago, in fact, that there were no books, no houses, and no schools. The world was wild and new. This is where our story begins, in the misty dawn of time. Early humans, our distant ancestors, walked the earth. They looked a lot like us, but their lives were very different. They did not have fancy tools or warm clothes. They had to be clever and brave to survive. They gathered fruits and nuts from trees and hunted for animals. Every day was a great adventure, filled with danger and discovery. They huddled together in small groups, learning to help one another. These early people were incredible inventors. Someone, somewhere, had a brilliant idea. They picked up a stone and shaped it. Suddenly, they had a tool. They could use it to cut, to scrape, and to hunt much better than before. This was the Stone Age, and it was a huge step for humankind. They learned to control fire, which was perhaps their greatest discovery of all. Fire gave them warmth on cold nights. It cooked their food, making it tastier and safer to eat. And it scared away the big dangerous animals that lurked in the darkness. Fire was a friend, a protector, and a powerful tool that changed everything. For thousands and thousands of years, these small family groups wandered across the land. They followed the herds of animals and the changing seasons, never staying in one place for too long. They lived in caves, and on the walls of these caves, they painted. They drew pictures of the animals they hunted, great woolly mammoths, bison, and deer. These weren't just simple drawings, they were stories. They were a way of saying, we were here, this was our life. These ancient paintings are like a secret message sent to us from a time we can barely imagine, a beautiful whisper from the very beginning of our shared human journey. Then, something truly amazing happened. After a very long time of wandering, people discovered a secret in the soil. They noticed that if they dropped seeds on the ground, new plants would grow. This was the start of farming. It was a revolutionary idea. Now they didn't have to wander anymore to find food. They could stay in one place and grow their own. They could build stronger homes and form larger groups. This was the beginning of the very first villages. Life was still hard, but for the first time, people were starting to build a world of their own, planting the seeds for everything that was to come. With farming, villages grew bigger and bigger. Soon they became the world's first cities. Imagine living in one of these bustling new places. People had different jobs. Some were farmers, growing food for everyone. Others were builders, creating walls and temples. Some were potters, making jars to store grain and water. This was a new way of living together. In a land called Mesopotamia, between two great rivers, amazing cities like Ur and Babylon rose from the dust. People learned to work together on a grand scale, building incredible structures and creating laws to live by. Life became more organized, but also much more complicated. Along the Nile River in Egypt, another great civilization was born. The Egyptians built enormous pyramids, giant tombs for their kings, the pharaohs. These pyramids were so big they seemed to touch the sky, and they still stand today, thousands of years later, as a testament to what people can achieve when they work together. The Egyptians also had a wonderful idea. They wanted to keep records of their history, their laws, and their stories. So they invented a beautiful form of picture writing called hieroglyphics. This was a giant leap for humanity. For the first time, people could write down their thoughts and send them across time and space. Not far away, in ancient Greece, people were thinking about the world in a new way. They asked big questions like, what is justice? And how should we live? Thinkers, or philosophers like Socrates and Plato, taught people to think deeply and to question everything. The Greeks also loved stories, plays, and sports. They gave us the Olympic Games and the idea of democracy, where people could choose their own leaders. Their ideas about government, art, and science were so powerful that they spread far and wide, and we still talk about them in our schools today. The Greeks showed the world the power of a curious mind. Then came the mighty Romans. The Romans were excellent builders and soldiers. They built a vast empire that stretched across much of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. If you were in the Roman Empire, you could travel on amazing stone roads that connected distant cities. They built aqueducts to carry water to their towns and great arenas like the Colosseum for entertainment. The Romans were very organized and created a system of laws that was so fair and logical that many countries still use similar ideas today. Their empire shows us how cooperation, engineering, and strong rules can bring many different people together under one banner. After the great Roman Empire fell apart, the world in Europe changed. This time is sometimes called the Middle Ages. Life became more local, centered around castles and small villages. Knights in shining armor rode across the land, promising to protect their kings and the people. It was a time of great faith, and magnificent cathedrals were built that soared towards the heavens, filled with beautiful stained glass windows that told stories from the Bible. While there were many conflicts during this period, people also shared stories, songs, and skills. Monks in quiet monasteries carefully copied old books by hand, preserving the knowledge of the Greeks and Romans for the future. But then, after many centuries, a new light began to dawn, first in the cities of Italy. People started to rediscover the amazing art and ideas of the ancient Greeks and Romans. It was as if the world was being born again. This period is called the Renaissance, which means rebirth. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo created breathtaking paintings and sculptures that looked incredibly real. Scientists began to look at the stars and question what they saw. It was a time of incredible creativity, curiosity, and adventure. People felt a new sense of wonder about the world and what humans were capable of achieving. This new spirit of discovery led people to brave the unknown oceans. Explorers like Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan set sail in small, creaky wooden ships. They were searching for new trade routes to faraway lands like India and China, but they ended up finding whole continents they never knew existed. This age of exploration connected the world in ways it had never been before. People, plants, animals, and ideas began to travel between Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Americas. The world suddenly felt much bigger, but also much more connected. It was a time of great change, and not always for the better, but it reshaped the map of the world forever. The way people thought about the world was also changing dramatically. A man named Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press. Before this, books were rare and had to be copied by hand, which took a very long time. Now, books and ideas could be printed quickly and shared with thousands of people. Knowledge began to spread like wildfire. More people learned to read, and they could think for themselves about religion, science, and government. The printing press was a powerful machine that put knowledge into the hands of ordinary people, fueling even more change and setting the stage for the modern world. After the Renaissance, the pace of change started to speed up even more. Someone in Great Britain figured out how to use the power of steam to make machines move. This was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. At first, the steam engine was used to pump water out of coal mines, but soon, clever inventors put these engines on wheels to create the first trains and on boats to create steamboats. Suddenly, people and goods could travel faster than ever before. The world felt like it was shrinking. The puffing steam engine was the powerful heart of a new age of machines and factories. Factories began to spring up in cities, filled with noisy, clanking machines that could make cloth, steel, and other goods much faster than a person ever could. Many people left their farms in the countryside to find work in these new factories. Cities grew at an incredible rate, becoming crowded and busy. Life changed completely. People no longer worked according to the sun and the seasons, but by the clock and the factory whistle. This new industrial world brought great wealth and amazing new products, but it also created new problems, like pollution and difficult working conditions for many men, women, and even children. The new technologies of the Industrial Revolution also changed how countries interacted. With powerful steamships and new weapons, some nations in Europe became very powerful. They built huge empires just like the Romans, but this time they stretched all around the globe. This led to a lot of conflict. The early part of the 20th century saw two terrible world wars. Countries fought each other using the very machines, airplanes, tanks, and submarines that the Industrial Revolution had created. These wars were devastating and showed the terrible side of human conflict, causing immense suffering and changing the world forever. It was a painful lesson in what can happen when cooperation fails. However, even in these difficult times, human ingenuity continued to shine. Scientists like Marie Curie explored the hidden world of atoms, while Albert Einstein completely changed how we understand space and time. Doctors discovered new medicines, like antibiotics, that could cure diseases that were once deadly. After the Great Wars, people around the world felt a strong desire to work together to prevent such a thing from ever happening again. They formed new groups, like the United Nations, to talk through their problems instead of fighting. The age of machines had brought both great progress and great sorrow, teaching humanity important lessons about power and responsibility. The last 100 years have seen changes so fast it can make your head spin. Think about your grandparents' lives. They probably didn't have computers or mobile phones. Now, we live in the information age. With the invention of the computer and the internet, We have connected the world in a way that would have seemed like magic to our ancestors. We can talk to someone on the other side of the planet in an instant. We can access almost all of human knowledge with just a few clicks. This incredible network has changed how we learn, how we work, and how we talk to each other, bringing us closer together than ever before. This new technology has allowed us to achieve incredible things. We have sent people to the moon, gazing back at our beautiful blue planet from afar. We have sent robotic explorers to Mars and beyond, searching for answers to the biggest questions about the universe. At the same time, scientists are exploring the tiny building blocks of life itself, learning how our bodies work and finding new ways to fight disease. We are constantly pushing the boundaries of what is possible, driven by the same curiosity that led our earliest ancestors to shape that first stone or paint that first picture on a cave wall. But our story is not over, and our modern world has big challenges. The same industries that brought us progress have also polluted our air and water and are changing our planet's climate. We still see conflicts and disagreements between people and nations. We have learned that with great power comes great responsibility. The biggest test for humanity now is to learn how to use our amazing knowledge and technology wisely. We must find ways to live together peacefully and to take care of our precious planet, which is the only home we have. This is a challenge for every single one of us. So, here we are at this moment in the great, long story of the world. It is a story of incredible adventure, of brilliant ideas, and of people learning, slowly and sometimes painfully, how to live together. From those first steps out of the African mist to our giant leaps into space, it has been one amazing journey. The future is not yet written. It is a blank page waiting for us. It is our turn to be the inventors, the explorers, and the peacemakers. Our hope is that we can learn from all the chapters that came before us to write a future that is bright, kind, and full of wonder for all the people who will come after us.